Hey everybody, welcome to your lesson on air quality. Today we're going to focus on the difference between pollutants that are natural and pollutants that are caused by humans. So before we do that, we're going to get into what air quality is. So air quality affects the quality of life for all of us on Earth, and not just humans, but all organisms. Natural as well as human activities influence the quality of air on Earth. And as you can see in the picture, right off the hand, you can see that volcanoes are one form of natural air pollution. And obviously cars and factories are not natural. Those are caused by humans. The environment contains dangerous levels of substances that are being pumped out in factories, cars, automobiles, different water pipes, all different kinds of chemicals are being pumped out into the atmosphere that are harmful to human beings and also to plants and all kinds of different animals as well. So the good health of individuals requires that we monitor not only the air but also the soil and the water to make sure that we keep everything safe for humans, for our food, for our water, and for all the plants and anything living around us. Luckily, technology has allowed us to measure the characteristics of the air and also to monitor how air quality changes over time so that we can better do something about it. This information helps us to make better informed decisions so that we can protect air quality and risks to human health and other organisms go down. All right, natural air pollutants. So air pollution does not exist entirely of man-made substances. Many pollutants are released directly from natural sources and pose as much of a health hazard as man-made substances do. All right, here are the 6 main natural pollutants. These are what you're going to be writing on your graphic organizer. Forest fires. The smoke from forest fires is incredibly harmful for people to breathe, and it's also bad for plants and animals around there. However, forest fires are required for some plants in order to reseed. So certain kinds of trees require that the fire burn in order for the seed pods to fall from the trees to reseed themselves. Volcanic eruptions are another form of natural pollutant. Plant pollen, which most of us have been affected by at one point or another. Radon, which is a bad gas. I'll go into more into radon when we're in our chemistry cycle. But it's found in some homes. Mold spores, also found in homes, and then dust from plowed fields is really not healthy for humans. Human-induced air pollution. So there's 3 main types of human-induced. This means it's not natural. They come from fossil fuels, from acid rain, and from smog or little particles in the air. Okay, so we're going to go over just a little bit about each one of those 3. So first of all, fossil fuels. The main cause of air pollution is from the burning of fossil fuels for transportation. The best way for us to improve air quality is to simply use less fossil fuels, drive less, transport less. The burning of fossil fuels releases a lot of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, which is not good. And we're going to go into, in your next lesson, why carbon dioxide is not good for the atmosphere, something called the greenhouse effect. So examples of some fossil fuels that you may have heard of already are coal, oil shale, natural gas. Oil shale is oil, natural gas, and all of these things are used in transportation. They're called fossil fuels because of how they formed. They come from a plant or animal remains and take a really long time to form. So you can see this pie chart shows that 86% of U.S. energy consumption is fossil fuels. That number is going to be a little bit different now. This chart's a couple years outdated, but it's still around the same percentage, the same proportions for each chunk. Petroleum is still the largest amount used, 40%. Coal and natural gas fall into, they're tied at 23%. Then next is nuclear power, and last is renewable energy. So nuclear power, coal, natural gas, petroleum account for the majority of the energy that is consumed. Most of it is fossil fuels, however. Only 6% is renewable energy, which means that 6% is from a source that is able to be remade again. So sunlight, water, the water cycle, it's a cycle, so it's able to be renewed. Coal, petroleum, which is oil, natural gas, you cannot renew those. They are considered non-renewable resources. Once you use them, they're gone. Okay, so some problems with fossil fuels is they cause acid rain, they are going to run out in the near future, and they cause global warming. They increase the greenhouse effect, which leads to global warming. Again, we're going to really go into detail with that in the next lesson, but I did just want to mention it here because it's a serious problem with fossil fuels. Okay, so acid rain. Acid rain's rain that's become much more acidic than normal because of pollution. So factories, power plants, and lots of different kinds of transportation release what's called sulfur dioxide, which is a compound, and nitrogen into the air. And those mix with the water vapor that's already in the air and form some really bad acids called sulfuric acid and nitric acid. These acids mix with cloud droplets and then eventually fall to Earth as precipitation. The wind blows the pollution all around the globe, so acid rain may fall far from where it was actually formed, from where the actual pollution was. Acid rain is really bad for trees, makes lakes more acidic, which makes it harder for fish and other organisms to survive, and it also harms buildings and sculptures. So here's just a couple pictures to show you. The diagram on the left, sulfuric acid plus nitric acid in rainfall equals acid rain. And then acid rain, bodies of water that have acid rain, have been affected by acid rain, have really crystal clear water. You will not see any fish, frogs, very few insects, but you will see this certain type of moss called sphagnum moss. You can see the top right, all of the dead fish floating in that body of water, and then the bottom right, all of the dead trees. Those are both pictures showing you the effects of acid rain. Acid rain on sculptures and buildings is really kind of crazy to look at. If you look at the sculpture on the left from 1908 and then look at the same sculpture in 1969, you can see how much it's been eroded away because the acid's eating away the sculpture. On the very, very far right, this is a building, and the acid rain is literally eating out some of the cinder blocks in the building. And this is not cinder block, it's actually made of limestone and marble, but some of the limestone marble blocks are being eaten away and corroded by the acid. Last is smog. Smog is a colloid, which is a mixture of smoke, fog, and chemicals. So many areas have smog, which is really bad because smog is incredibly harmful for our lungs. It really irritates our lungs. And just a brief preview of your continuation from this lesson is we're going to go into detail in the greenhouse effect, global warming, and ozone depletion. So we'll be expanding upon how fossil fuels change Earth's natural greenhouse effect, which leads to global warming, and then separately ozone depletion, which we started to talk about a little bit when we learned about the different layers of the atmosphere. So stay tuned and have a great Tuesday or Wednesday, if this is Wednesday that you're doing this.